Can we start now? Yeah. So we'll start actually. Okay. Okay. Am I audible? Yeah. Am I able to?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is a program we wanted to understand, like, okay, the basic foundation who don't understand what is the programming and what is the logic. And as a part of introductory discussion or session, we would like to uh, share the information about next part of this. We wanted to understand what is coding, why coding is required. Okay, what are the different paradigms we talk about coding. Then we'll understand what is C program. Basically, today's session, we will try to understand the background about programming and what are the different the paradigm with respect to a coding. So everyone talks about coding, right? So, like for example, even though some people who are from the education of maybe MSc, MTech, BE or BCA, they find difficulty to code actually. But some people who are passionate, they are maybe from the non-IT background also. You could see that they are more successful software engineer. That is the reason behind is it is not because of what degree you have pursued. Okay, it is the question of what kind of passion you have involved to learn the any programming language. So, and if you go for any organizations, it may be as a fresher, after having 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, still we are searching for what is good code. That is actually because people are talking about logic here. What is logic that we wanted to understand here, and also we wanted to understand, okay, through the programming. We were discussing about the next 2 months, okay, we are talking about all different kinds of programming. It may be a procedural, functional, logic based, okay. I am going to explore all different kinds of programs so that you people feel that, okay, if you learn one programming language, you won't find any difficulty shifting from one language to the another language. However, till people who are from the graduate, undergraduate to postgraduate students, they themselves are finding difficult. It is only because of lack of interest. That's it. And this can be anyone's ball game. Computer science is not belongs to only computer science student. Now it is a multidisciplinary culture we have. The people from the MSc physics, chemistry, statistics, okay. Anyone who wants to learn, anyone wants to explore, the world is open for them. And that's why this is important to understand a coding. What is coding actually? It is just a I am using a computer. Computer may be having the hardware resources. My objective is to utilize that hardware device effectively to perform my desired task. That's it. We wanted to do, right? So that is what we are talking about, a coding. And nowadays, buzzword people are talking about Python, Java, C++, JavaScript. Okay, there are many things people are talking about. Okay, but these are all buzzwords. And so if you are an expert in Python, you have a job opportunity, say as a data scientist, or machine learning engineer, AI developer. We are talking about nowadays. When you go for a Java, you can be a very good full stack web developer. And if you want to work on C, C++ embedded side, people can go for that. Okay. And browser programming language, JavaScript is there from the beginning, ruling our browser. Okay. If that was the case, what is coding? What are the different paradigms we have? And if you try to understand that, then definitely you can enjoy this subject. Actually. So basically, the most of the non-IT people or IT people are college students. The reason behind if they wanted to do the coding is it is because of uh, one is personal, another one is professional benefit. There are a lot of benefits around it. Okay. The main objective of learning is career opportunities. The majority of people says that, okay, if I do some I have done some XYZ course, I become a software engineer. Even though I have done the non-IT discipline, but it is at the end of the day, the what level, what kind of expertise you have. And here I'm not getting into the advanced skills because majority of time people simply learn the top of the tree and finally they end with, they don't have strong foundation, but they can fall anytime. So this foundation course we are talking about here, focusing primarily on the foundations. If the foundation is correct, okay, strong, then definitely you can learn any kind of specializations. That is next set of the lecture we can discuss. But as of now, we restrict ourselves, our scope towards the coding fundamentals, fundamental programming like C, C++, it may be a core Java or JavaScript kind of things. In next 2.5 months, we were discussing about that actually. Career opportunities, yes, it is numerous. Okay, if you for that, this is the alphabet for us. And many problem solving skills you can notice here. And you can automate many things and innovative creation. You could see that after 1995, a lot of creativity seen in the system because of IT world. Understanding the technology is the most the important to drive the what we call it as today's era of revolution. And job security. That is one more factor people are moving towards it. And another important thing is global collaboration. So if your country is very strong in IT, the representation or leadership you can gain, and it is only because of the learning through the IT world. So earlier days it was there, like whichever the products, it depends on that. But today world people are defined by IT sectors. So if you are IT and technology is very strong, the future is there. That's why people, everyone, every country, every kid or child or adult, everyone is competing for this. Okay. And that's why the art of coding is more important. I am just focusing the previous session, like when we did the webinar on that, where I only discussed about job opportunities, what and all these things. But today I am talking about, from today onwards, we are talking about the coding skills actually. So we want to remove the fear of coding. That is the objective. People wants to learn coding, but they feel that, okay, they get offended because of saying that, okay, it is not my, it is my game to learn this, but I feel that everyone can learn without hesitation. Only thing is they need to believe themselves, and then definitely happens like that. The importance of coding in today's world, the majorly is digital transformation. Now we are having the buzzword called artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? So this is the one of the word people are talking about the day, every company, every organization, every person. Without AI, we can't survive in future. People are talking about, but foundation is required for that. Okay, any agent system or automating decision systems, we can make it. Cyber security is one more area where, because of the internet frauds, people has to detect, and they have to identify. There are many systems are evolved. Okay, it is because of coding, exploring, analysis, and come up with a very good coding and the rationale behind that actually. And basically, any industry, if you go nowadays, for example, Everything is tied with computer, and that education and transformation is happening in the IT world, bringing into a multidisciplinary this one. Also research, it is nowhere related to a like a one sector, one stream of people. Research is now with everyone. Everyone understands what is research, but for better understanding, if I want to develop my own product process, okay, and automate that, and then I need to explore in many ways, okay. Because of that, today world, we are talking about coding. Empowering for next generation, we need to learn coding. The coding, if you learn, if you understand the art of this, then definitely you can enjoy. And definitely, I am pretty confident this system is it will go in very big actually. And here, like when you talk about coding, always I'm talking, since I believe that who are the target audience here. Most of the people wants to know what is programming. Even though YouTube, we have a lot of content, and in digital world we have many contents, but still it is my duty to cover. Okay, just to give the for those people who already knows, yes, they can understand very well. But here just when we start, we should always start with alphabet, okay, right? So that is how I am starting as of now. The day progresses, we will get into till very high level coding things, okay? But as of now, let us understand, we are cutting down in short, we are starting from the scratch actually. And I assuming that, okay, they are very much fresher to this world. In that context, I am talking here, and the people who are already know this, okay, please ignore at this moment. But there are some people who really badly needed for this actually. If I want to build a programs, okay, how do you build a program? So that is the question, and we call it as a, if I want to communicate, like for example in India, so we communicate through Hindi, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu. Okay, these are the communication languages. But when we talk to a computer can understand on and off, right? So that is called as a 0 and 1. That is called machine level language, okay? And that is broad category people are talking about. That means at the end of the day, if your resources has to be effectively utilized on the computer, then you need a machine level language actually. So, but slowly people are talking about, okay, machine level language is nowhere we can code. And people started thinking about people are talking about assembly level language. So what is assembly level language? It is a mnemonic or a symbolic code actually, okay? So the representation of add, more. So we are going to discuss that, but at this moment, assume that, okay, assembly level language is just like a add, mod, delete, something like that. So if you look at this, okay, if you want to if you stay 0 1 0 1, something like that, if instead of doing that, okay, so it is a machine level language we talk about, okay. And instead of this, what we were doing, so it is very difficult to remember. People are talking about move, okay, A comma C. Like this, we started coding, and people are talking about symbolic representation of this, okay, representation. And then it is called as a assembly code actually. So here what people are trying to implement is, okay, symbolic representation. And but it is also very difficult to understand and learn, okay. And then people are slowly move towards the higher level language, high level programming language. So that is today you can see a lot of high level programming language in the current world. So, and that is what higher level programming language. See, as you know, machine level languages are binary numbers, okay? It depends upon the different types of systems, different types of machine code. And then people are talking about assembly level language. What is assembly level language is? It is the symbolic representation, as I told, that move value one into a EX register in x86 assembly. So it is just a symbolic representation. By God grace, we are moved away, far away from this, because otherwise no one wants to become a software engineer. And finally, if you want to come to higher level languages, there are third generation, fourth generation, fifth generation, we started calling, okay. And finally, high level means Today, what you see that C, C++, Java, Python, all are high-level languages. But we are curious that, okay, how does this evolution happen before getting into art of coding and learn through C and then as object-oriented? The first we need to understand, okay, we have to clarity that, okay, anything if you from history you should at least minimal level you should understand. So first generation languages, when you talk about 1940 to 1950s, coding was done using binary zeros and ones directly communicating with the hardware. Extremely difficult and it is time consuming. Early computers like ENIAC used in machine code actually. Okay. And see, this is the first generation which started in 1940 only. Okay. And where people are using binary code and representation. When it comes to a second generation, when we talk about second generation, 1950 to 1960, like a symbolic representation, assembly level for this one, this is an era of the second generation. And when we come to a 1960 to 1980, there are a lot of promising technologies, syntaxes comes into a picture. That is nothing but 1960 to 1980s, okay? It is a more human readable syntax with language like C, Fortran, and COBOL, and portability across different hardware platform and structured programming concepts were introduced. So when we were studying, okay, we were passionate about Fortran and COBOL. COBOL is so till now that people are using in many banking and systems and all. Okay, but this is a very high level programming language at that days. Okay, but C and Fortran and COBOL pretty popular at that time. Okay, these are all third generation code actually. Probability for different hardware platforms, you could see all these things. And when this is introduced, people are talking about the one paradigm shift or paradigm programming. We call it as a structured programming. So this term comes into a picture, okay, which where concepts were introduced. So next one is, okay, we were talking about fourth generation. Fourth generation is nothing but 1980s to 2000. Most of the people are talking about declarative languages. What are declarative languages? Anyhow, you are going to learn in the further sessions. But just now I am telling that as a part of the, if someone knows the database programming language called SQL, and researchers who used to work earlier before Python, MATLAB, all are declarative programming languages. So usually they focus on problem solving and rather than step-by-step instructions and designed efficiently and automation in business applications. So that means like a third generation, 1960 to 1980 and 1980 to 2000, we got into a fourth generation of these things. Now today era is like artificial intelligence and automation. Today we are talking about AI, we are talking about machine learning, automation tools, low code, no code platforms we are talking about, okay? And advanced frameworks and libraries like TensorFlow and PyTorch. Also, coding is becoming more and more abstract and many AI assisting like a GitHub, Copilot, all these platforms are helping people, ChatGPT, all are nowadays it is a contribution to the fifth generation. So nowadays people are talking about fifth generation, many advanced programming languages are becoming better and better in nowadays actually. Now, what is next actually? So what is the future? We talk about is the sixth generation. When you say the sixth generation, the next generation of coding may focus on like a fully autonomous AI programming with minimal human intervention. Okay, what is fully autonomous AI programming? Means end-to-end AI programming with minimal human intervention. People are talking about. Quantum computing, this is one of the promising world people are talking about. Today, whatever the speed at which we execute computation, we wanted to make more than 10, 20 times better than today. So that's why quantum computing is based on programming paradigm we are talking about. natural language programming people are talking today. Okay, many researchers, it may be they are from mathematics, physics, or chemistry, statistics. Okay, all of them are interested in these things to perform their own research, come up with the most innovative product for the next generation. And for that, people are nowadays started focusing on that. And Python is the buzzword to supporting all these things. And greater integration with augmented and virtual reality for immersive development and experiences. So this is the future, especially for the coding generation. That means we have understood. Okay, it started with what is called a very fundamental generation. We call it as a first generation, where it is very extremely difficult to write a code. Then to avoid that, people have come up with the assembly language, then moved out to the third generation. Then they come to a fourth generation. Now, then currently we are working in the fifth generation era. Then finally we are looking forward promisingly towards the next generation. That means future of the coding is the sixth generation we are talking about. Any questions? Anyone has it? Yeah. So if anyone has it, please post it. Okay. Otherwise I will move. Okay, no issues. So when we talk about here, okay, the fifth generation fully autonomous process, the quantum computing, anyhow, nowadays people, it is in the initial stage, but probably it is after 2 years, it may be a big buzzword in the market. And now the technology is growing very fast, and we have to update ourselves to move forward. And that's why foundation of programming, even though many times we say that, okay, I know coding, but when we ask, suddenly people are, because of many like AI tools, people are stop learning that. But finally, if you want to succeed, you should know coding. So coding is not so very difficult to learn. But one thing is, remember, if you are interested, then you can learn actually. So another important, for the beginners, I wanted to tell, okay, even experienced people may not be knowing some of the things, okay, but if you learn directly to a Java or a HTML, CSS, without knowing, if you learn, you will not understand the beauty of the programming language. If you have to appreciate and beauty of the programming language, only you know the principles of programming language. If you understand principles of programming language, and you ever be a champion in this industry. So if you want to be forever champion, definitely you have to understand the paradigm shift you have to make yourself. And what are the different types of paradigms, program paradigm jargons people are using, let us try to understand. So if you look at here, people are talking about word called structure. Okay, when you see the description, sequential modular approach, like the programming languages, C, Pascal is the example. Anyhow, don't worry if you don't know these words. It may be buzzword for you at this moment. Now, but please remember, since I believe that, okay, you don't know coding, whoever is joined today, but after 2.5 months, I am promising you that, okay, you will reach to the stage, you can, you will be having all these buzzwords in your mind, and you can able to relate what we are talking about before getting into the specialization course. Okay, and for this, that's why the foundation is more important. Okay, the foundation, it may be C, it may be Pascal, that you have to understand better. And for this, before getting into that, it is always good to know that, okay, what are the different paradigms we have in the IT world. When we talk about initial days, people are talking about a structured, so it means structured programming. Then people are talking about a procedural approach. Sometimes the structured, all programs are structured, but there are some fine-tuning kinds will be there. Lot of overlapping will be there, but try to understand the structured is a sequential and modular approach, whereas procedural we call it as a functions for organization. Anyhow, once you learn C programming, definitely you will be able to relate. Okay, that is the purpose for next 15-20 days we are spending to understand C programming. Then is object oriented. What is object oriented? So it is a as we think, when we go to the C++, you will be able to appreciate what is object-oriented programming language. When you understand core Java, it looks very easy programming. The coding, typing may be more, but you have to understand that you do not require to memorize it. Rather than you should know how to type it. So that is what we can say. That is just like you have to, when you are learning Java, you should read like a dictionary. Okay. So that is the approach people have taken in object-oriented. Grady Bush is the person who called as a father of object-oriented methodology. He brought certain principles in object-oriented. And James Ramberg, he's the person who instrumental to bring the utilization and structurization of that. And today world, people are talking about Java, C#, Python, or any programming language we talk about is object-oriented. So definitely it is the most interesting topic to discuss there, and it is very excited and the insight of the inside programming language. If you really love the principles of object-oriented, definitely you can do wonders in when you are working on the web development. So another important thing is we used to do in earlier days of our career using the VB script, okay, JavaScript. Now also most people are using because without JavaScript, you cannot write any program in the browser because browser can understand only JavaScript, okay, whether it may be React, it may be Angular, it may be any other technologies. But finally, our browser can be interpreted only JavaScript. So browser can understand only JavaScript. So that is what we call it as object-based. Let us see that what is object-based. Okay, we will focus on that. Then functional programming language. When you say functional programming language, okay, based on pure functions, okay, Haskell, Python, anyhow, we are going to learn it. Okay, so that is also one more interesting topic we are going to discuss. Logic uses facts and rules for logical inference. The prologue, okay, it is nothing but logic programming. Earlier, we used to call it as AI programming. If I want to write, if you have a the relationship, this is also very beautiful programming language. When you have a complex scenarios, if you want to derive certain analogy, people are started using that. Prolog is also one of the most important programming language. Anyhow, now everyone using Python itself. Declarative programming language. Today, people are talking about SQL and Prolog. These are both are the declarative kind of things. Declarative in the sense, like we will understand it later. At this moment, assume that there is a term called declarative programming. The people who already work, they may be having an idea about what is SQL. Event-driven response to the events, JavaScript, C#. So these are all event listeners we are talking about, okay? That means when we are using these buzzwords, don't get we have many buzzwords. But at the end of the day, computer can understand very simple language, simple word. Even though if you get selected in IT company, no one encourages. So always you may know the pointers, but most of the people don't expect to write a code using pointer. Is browser also understand HTML? So HTML is the basic language, markup language we talk about. But JavaScript is the one of the programming language it can able to understand. When I come to the JavaScript, I will explain that what is the history and journey of JavaScript. Why JavaScript means is not a Java. It is a VB script and JavaScript altogether same. So we'll discuss about that. I always love to understand the history first. And because that history will give you what is introduced in what, when it is introduced, then we are very curious to learn this programming language, and definitely we will discuss actually. And here, when you talk about event-driven response to the event, when on click of certain events, we will be doing it. But at this moment, remember, just majority of people, they know Java, they may be a .NET, they may be knowing very higher programming language, but still they could not able to relate what is that, okay, what are the different programming paradigm shift, okay. So please remember structured procedure, at least remember these words, okay. Object-oriented, object-based, functional, logic, declarative, and event-driven approach. Quickly, we can look into this, okay, so that you can move fast in the next session. So when you come to a structured programming language, it involves what? What is our objective? to write the clean code. That's it. Because in a project, when we develop, if we and since IT people not stick to one place, they may change the companies, and because of that, the structured maintenance is more important for us. And if someone new guy comes to the see the code of others, okay, when we are working as a team, everyone should understand, right? So for that reason, we should have a clarity and quality of programs. And for that, we have the C, Pascal, all are given the definitive, what we call it as a the proper workflows. Okay, by utilizing that, we can make the structured programming. So that's why structured programming is one of the most important jargon people are talking about. Sequential execution of code. Once we learn C, you will be able to appreciate this use of functions and procedure, better readability and maintainability. At this moment, who are beginners, definitely they are finding difficult to understand as a that jargons. But I believe that, okay, this is not at all a so difficult task. It is very easy to things. Once you learn one programming language, C, next 20 days, if you understand C programming, then you will be able to relate all these things actually. Similarly, examples like Pascal, Python, R, C programming, all are structured programming. Finally, what is structured? It is well organized, readable, functions, procedures, and well maintainable code. We call it as a structured programming. It may be like this. Maybe you may not be able to appreciate what it is, okay, but definitely you can understand after 20 days, okay. And after that, we'll get into the object-oriented things actually. So, but if you look at this, it is a like the way it is organized, it is just at this, remember. So some sequence has been maintained. That's it. The next is procedural approach. The both structured and procedural, almost it is same. But when you are writing the logic, we are emphasized on the functions. Emphasis on the functions. The task will be divided into many functions. That is called procedures. And variables are used as a global or a local. You don't worry what is variable, you'll understand. Supports code reusability via functions. Okay. These jargons we are talking about is a procedural approach. If you look at this, same code, similar code only I have written. There is nothing different than structured programming, because C is also a structured programming, and it is also follow the sequence and workflow. And that's why, and also it will follow the procedure, will be followed to solve the task. That's why you can able to do that. So you will be able to do this. It is not a rocket science. You can able to write very easily, even though you are a non-coder, and you can understand this very easily. Next is object-oriented. What is object-oriented? The people are talking about Java, C++, Python, C#. These are all object-oriented programming language. Definitely when we talk about object-oriented principles, object-oriented analysis, object-oriented design, okay? And definitely you'll be able to understand what is object-oriented. And it has some features like encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, like all these things. Anyhow, we are going to discuss all these things, okay? But for your convenience, encapsulation is just like a hiding. I'm talking about a very, very high level. Inheritance means if my grandfather has a property and that will come to me, then it will to the son. Like that hierarchy will be code reusability, we call it as. Polymorphism in the sense, so in general word, if I talk about, let me not get into too much technical. Encapsulation is nothing but there is a one like a block box has been given. That's it. So in that box, everything is wrapped and given. That is encapsulation. The code is written like that. If someone wants to open, there should be a key on the box, something like that. So one specific person can open that and see it. So based on the amenities you have, that is encapsulation. Inheritance is nothing but if you follow your the family inheritance, that is similar to that. The purpose here, once I write the code, I can use in many places. So that is the concept of reusability we talk about. And polymorphism, when we talk about, is you have a one state or one object. For example, you are going in the car. There is a gear. This is an object. Okay. When you move to the first gear, one speed will go. Second gear, another speed will go. The object is same. For example, I may be giving a lecture as a trainer. Maybe that is one behavior. Daytime I will be working maybe as a lecturer. Then I may be a lecturer. There are maybe the same person. I may be working on some projects. Then that is called as the developer. So that means all kind of the same object. Mallikarjun myself. Okay, I am behaving three behaviors. Similarly, if I write the code, that one, how to express that object into a different behavior, different state. So for that, we talk about the polymorphism. So that means encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism is also one of the most beautiful concept. These concept, when you are solving the problem, if you started looking in this direction, we call it as object oriented. Definitely, it's the people for you people. It looks very complicated jargon at this moment, but after 1.5 months, I feel that, okay, you know better than anyone else. So that much confidence I have. This is very simple and easy to learn. The age, it doesn't matter. The experience doesn't matter. But only thing is interest matters a lot. Okay, if you have an interest, I am there to support you people. Don't worry, and we will move forward. So this is simple structure. We have actually Java, C++, Python, C#, and we have shown some Python code here. Definitely, it is very difficult for the people. It is a constructor. Okay, it is the method. Okay, so you will not be able to understand whether it is a public method or private method. You will not able to understand all those things at this moment. Keep quiet, saying that okay. At this moment, there is a term called object oriented. Look some like what is called. So just our objective is to understand this code. If you are able to learn object oriented like a Python, you will be able to understand this very easily. Similarly, if you want to, another paradigm people are talking about is object oriented and object based. So there is a little bit confusion is there. Here also object is there. Here also object is there. But this is called orientation. This is called based. Okay. So the key features is objects and encapsulation similar to the object only, object oriented only. But here we don't have a concept of no inheritance or polymorphism. That is the difference we are talking about. No inheritance or no polymorphism. So that is called object-based feature actually. When you say no inheritance, no polymorphism, can't we do this? If you are really have a ability, we can do that. Okay, even JavaScript, we can show the prototype. So many ways are there to do that. Okay, inheritance concept and all. But at this moment, remember, any programming language, okay, which is object oriented, but if doesn't support inheritance and polymorphism, we call it as a object based. JavaScript is object based, not a object oriented. So object based. So this is object. Okay, this is the object. We are not trying to inherit and we are not trying to show the different states here in the JavaScript. So that's why object based and object oriented, don't get confused. Object oriented is nothing but all principles are satisfied. But if not satisfies, if do not satisfy inheritance, what is inheritance? Don't worry. Polymorphism, then you can say that it is a object based. And finally, we are talking about another programming language, which is called as a functional based, okay, functional programming language or first class functions. Even functions can be used as a variables, okay, no side effects. Recursion over loops itself, we can do it, okay. Very, very beautiful programming language. We call it as a Python, Haskell, Lisp. All these programming languages, we call it as the functional programming language. So functional programming, when you learn Python, definitely you can able to appreciate what is the functional programming language. And I think some of the people never heard this, what is called logic programming. Okay. So logic means usually it is based on formal logic. Okay. If someone is from mathematics, true, false, something like that. We used to do that. Okay. Like a TT is equal to F, something if you feel like we can use, we used to do that. Propositions and all those things. We used to do that. So that is called logic. Okay. It is a set of rules and facts. Okay. Usually we wanted to derive new from the existing problem, we wanted to derive a new solutions. That is called logic we are talking about. Uses of facts and rules. For example, today is what we call it as a assume that today is the raining, probability of rain. So that is a data or fact that is expected. Weather forecasters has told that today it is going to rain after 12 p.m. Okay, I have the fact saying that what? So there is a probability of raining. That is one thing we have heard. Weather forecaster also has told that at 12 p.m. there may be a possibility of rain in your place. Then using these two facts, what I have to derive is I carry the umbrella. So that is the derivation we call it. That is the logic we are going to derive. So AI programming probably, if you look at the earlier books or nowadays book, you can see that the prologue they will be using. Okay, prologue they will be using. So parent John, Mary. Okay, parent Mary, Anna, something like that. If you do that, who is the grandparent of this? If you want to derive such type of interpretation, if you wanted to do that, then people are using the logic program. That means there will be a facts, there will be a rules, and based using that, we will be solving the problem, getting the new solution. That is called the logic programming. It is not like C, C++, this one. We are deriving from the existing data. The artificial intelligence is doing the same. Okay, artificial intelligence is doing the same. So if you have a cat and dog, okay, if you see cat and dog, the images 1,000 times, if you train to the agent or a machine or a computer, okay, it is able to detect next photo, whether it is this photo is either cat or a dog. So how it is possible to do that? It is because of logic programming. It is because of logic program. So logic programming is one of the, so Prolog is the one of the prominent language will be used in the logic programming. And some people might have heard about the new term called declarative programming. What is declarative? It focuses on what the program should accomplish rather than how it should be done. Okay, so for that is what we call it as a SQL. SQL is the one of the most important programming language in terms of database, whichever the database you uses. It may be MySQL, it may be Oracle, it may be PostgreSQL, but SQL is a language. If you are able to learn any, I can say that any other databases you can learn. Once you have to learn SQL, then you do not require to worry about which database you are going to use. Okay, where we store the data, for that, we used to use the SQL. We are going to discuss and appreciate in detail about that. I'm curious to at last programming language we'll be discussing about is SQL, and it is the most important and declarative programming language. So we have SQL, HTML. Prolog also falls into this kind of categories, like select name, comma, age from employees where age greater than 30. Okay, so this kind of programming. So, but if you want to write the same thing in the C programming, you have to write 10 to 12 lines. Okay, you have to pass the age. Okay, and you have to tell the condition, and you have to load the details, and then what columns you have to do that. Then you have to return this object. So it takes at least 5 to 6 lines, but SQL takes only 1 line. Okay, that is the beauty of SQL. And that is one of it is because of it is a declarative programming language. So last but not least, we talk about event program. When you click on button, what is the response? If I hold a button, what will happen? If you want to work in this kind of programming, the JavaScript is better. So event-driven programming people talking about, and click of button, what is the listener, what is the functions we are going to add. So that is what we call it as a event programming. It means that we have understood what are the different types of object, the programming paradigm, structured, procedural, object-oriented, object-based, functional, logic, declarative, and as well as event-driven. So these are the different the programming paradigm. We are currently using it. And if you know that at least one program from this, I think you have a foundation very strong. So you have to have a foundation very strong. In majority of time, what we do is in the urgency of learning, we never learn the foundations. Directly jump to a Java. So directly jump to a .NET programming language without learning C++. It is a crime, I can say that, because without knowing the foundation, if you do that, and finally, if your small twist will be there, it is very difficult. So that's why always it is preferred to learn foundation very strong, and then you can construct it like a building in any direction, any way. How many floors you want to build, you can do that. For that simple thing is the foundation should be very strong. So in this journey, whether you may be asking, people are using Pascal or people are using C, maybe not that much prominent like earlier. Okay, but that is a alphabet for us. If you understand C programming, then it is very easy to relate to any other programming language as a procedural. If you learn core Java, you can relate to a C# also. And if you learn Python, you can relate to other object-oriented programming language. So because of that, I always suggest that you should be, if you are very good in the coding, it means that, okay, you have to have a strong foundation in basic programming language. Many universities, when we are talking about, I have heard that, okay, majority of time people are talking about a university syllabus or a any other like a educational institutes. People are talking about outdated. So that means I always feel that even though I worked for in IT industry, so that was more important. So when you see your the educational this one, so if you have C foundation, then you can construct anything. So always when you see the basic degree of your curriculum with maybe BCA, BSc or any program, always they give the foundations. Okay, they will not teach about the taught the any other advanced technologies like AI in advance. They won't go in that direction, but first they cover the foundation. On top of it, you have to construct it, because that is how you will get the basic foundation. If your basic foundation is very strong, you can learn any skills just through, like today we are doing through online. For that, what is, you have to understand that sometimes I have heard many people are talking about, okay, our course structure is not good. Course structure is good if we go consider. Only thing is they don't have advanced programming language. If they put advanced programming language, and then you will miss the foundation, and however in the new programming language, you find very difficult to from the one programming language to the another programming language. So if you know C, you can, no time you can learn C++. If you know C++, no time you can learn Java. If you know Java, so you can learn Python very easily. Okay, so that means there is a connection of principles of programming language, but without understanding that, when we talk about or commenting about that foundations, it is very difficult, because today we are here. Tomorrow, if some XYZ programming language, I can learn very easily, because I have a previous history of all these programming languages where I worked in the projects. We did a work. If I talk about Lambda, I will say what is Lambda. Just if I look at the term is different, okay, but when you get into that, it is a functional programming. Okay, we know that. Okay, in Java, Lambda is a big word. Okay, but Java 8. But if you know that word, definitely you can able to appreciate it. Okay, so that's why I always suggest people to understand foundation very first. Okay, then get into the specialization. Don't get into directly specialization. Majority of people does the same mistake, and because of when we are discussing in the team, suddenly he is very strong in advanced technology. Suddenly he put some word, then we start puzzled, okay, whether he has a foundation or not. So that should not happen. If for that reason only, I am always suggest that learn foundation. It is a matter of 3 months or 4 months. Okay, learn it when you are moving from the non-IT, or you are in IT, but you are very finding difficult to the code. It is not so challenging. So please understand the importance of that. Be passionate. You always self-believe, saying that, okay, I can learn any programming language. If you have this kind of faith, and definitely you can able to learn many programming language. As a quick summary, just I would like to highlight we started with what is coding, why it is coding is required. And then we appreciated that, okay, why to learn the coding skill? It is because of that career opportunity, problem solving skills and all those things we discussed. Then also we discussed about the importance of the coding in today's era we discussed actually. Then importance of what are the different types of programming language we have, machine, assembly, and today we are in the era of higher level programming languages, okay? And also we discussed about what is machine level language. And also we have discussed about high level languages. In that we are talking about the 5 generation to a 6 generation, we got into that. So what is first generation we discussed, second generation, third and fourth generation. And in 5th generation, we are talking about AI and machine learning. And we are going beyond that. So that is the next generation we are talking about. Then we discussed about the programming paradigm shift. So what are the different types of programming paradigm? That means structured and procedural. If I want to learn C programming, will be given the answer there. Object-oriented, C++, C#, and Java. These are the programming languages we talk about. Object-based when you talk about JavaScript, okay? And when you talk about functional programming language, Python is the one programming language. Logic programming, we talk about Prolog. SQL is nothing but declarative type. And finally, event-driven JavaScript is the one of the programming language. So VB script and JavaScript people are talking about. So these are the different categories of programming paradigm shift. And we are going to talk about one by one. And initially, we will start with the C programming from the next tomorrow sessions, where we will try to understand from the father of C programming, Dennis Ritchie, who written the code, and his like maybe around 80 to 90 pages of his book. On that, many 200, 300, 500, 600 pages of books are there. And the way he has written is as a original author, really amazing. Okay, even one line you can write into a 1 page or 2 pages. So that is how to understand. If you are able to read his book, that means you are done. That's it. Okay, you are a masterpiece in that. So many times, if you read, every time you read his C programming book, you will always see that, okay, there is something we have not ever thought. So I don't know this guy. He shifted our IT industry, definitely, okay. And because of that, today we can see that most of the people we get into that C and Python and Java. So these are the 3 programming languages created a milestone for us. And today, many middle class people, because of that, we traveled across the world, and we should be thankful to these people. Anyhow, thank you very much for joining today session. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day. So any questions before conclude? Anyone has questions? No, right?
So do you have any like a portion, like a structured portion,
Yeah,
like syllabus, what you're going to?
yeah. So that will be given within 2-3 days. Okay.
Oh,
But as an introductory session, we are starting here. Okay. And
okay,
we are going to give it. Not a problem.
okay. Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank
Others, anyone has any questions apart from her, Anuradha? Okay. I think in
Hello,
you,
sir.
many people are there.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, someone is asking about a PDF file. Can you share that in our group?
Yeah. Someone is
Sir,
asking.
someone is asking about PDF file.
I'm not getting. Just text me.
Sir, someone is asking about a PDF file. You will share that in the group?
Yeah, video file, the corresponding the recorded videos you mean to write. Okay, that will be given to you. Okay, so you can share to your team, and respective team will share. And some people are on YouTube live. We don't know. For them, it is very difficult. For you people, definitely will share. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So in fact, we will be giving LMS. Okay. After a few days, there all these recorded sessions will be available. Don't worry. Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much for all of you joining. Thanks a lot. Okay. Have a nice evening.